first start in music?
Okay, I'll go first. I actually have always been a singer. From when I was young, my parents would tell me, "Oh, you were always singing this song." And then later on, there's no music in my family, but I asked to play piano. I, for some reason, just wanted to play it. And they went with it, and just ever since about second grade, I've been playing piano on and off, and then went to university for voice, very involved in choirs. It just kind of all fit together. Kind of from the beginning, music.
I'm the same thing. There was a piano as a decoration in my parents' house growing up. My mom is a musician. She plays guitar and sings, but I just always played it. No one ever told me you had to take lessons. I just loved it. I took 5 years of lessons between the ages of 7 and 12, and I taught myself up until I was 18, 19. Then I went to school for 1 year for music, and then I even stopped taking piano lessons in school because I went to the piano bars and learned so much more with the piano players at the in the back rooms, just showing me things and listening, teaching myself that that's how I really got into it. So the piano bar since I was 18 or 19 is how I really got into music, and we've been doing it together. Well, we met when we were 18 actually, and we were always playing with each other, like in the music rooms at school.
Phantom of the Opera,
and NSYNC, or whatever was popular at the time.
It's no surprise that we're dueling piano players together now.
Yeah, 12 years later.
Kind of what we've always been doing for fun.
Yeah, we've done this professionally together for 3 years. I've done it for 10, she's done it for 3, and it's been really good. So that's it.
So do you have a favorite genre of music to play or listen to?
I don't know if it's a genre for me, but I become attracted to an artist or a band themselves. Like, I really like Adele. I like what she stands for. I like her songs, and then it just so happens that I like to cover her songs as well. Whitney Houston. There's certain artists that kind of strike something in me. Even bands, new and old. I like the Lumineers. They just came out. There's just something about a band and people that I get attracted to, and then I like their music, and then I just kind of start to cover it. But you have some favorites.
I usually love artists and musicians who are more socially relevant than just musically relevant, because I don't believe that you can isolate things. So I love Ray Charles, I love Peter Gabriel, I love Tom Waits. I love a lot of people who are, doing all sorts of, things outside the music they do. They have movements, they have causes, they have lyrics that are more into different kinds of, I guess you could say they're larger than the music.
Don't forget your Tom Waits.
I said Tom Waits, but yeah, Tom Waits, she knows. I love Tom Waits.
He loves Tom Waits.
He's my favorite. We love Paul McCartney, the Beatles, obviously. We kind of fell in love watching Paul McCartney in LA at Coachella, so that was cool.
So with your show, there's a lot of audience interaction. How do you feel about it? Does it give you energy, or do you feel that you have to be comfortable before to get people to do it, or there's certain?
It's kind of like
tricky. I think confidence is the first thing, and then it has to be reciprocal. It's much harder to get through a show when they just want to sit and watch, as opposed to the minute people start clapping and singing along, gives us even more of an opportunity to give them more energy, and then it, like Drew said, it just kind of circles. But when you have a crowd that just wants to sit and listen, it's nice. It's not a bad thing, but it will drain, and it will be harder for us to keep coming up with song after song and bit after bit when everyone's just watching.
If they're giving you zero energy, if they're just after everything, they're just like, as opposed to you play a song, you give it everything you have, and then they're like, yeah, and it just be this. It can definitely be an upward spiral, or it can just kind of stay the same. And we try to stay very healthy and stay very, able to give it our all every single show, so that it's like an athletic performance. We come out and we're ready to give the people something. So as long as they're willing to give it back, it's going to last 4 to 6 hours. But if they don't, then it's just kind of we put on the exact. It's crazy. We put on the exact same show 2 nights in a row, and I mean sometimes even the same songs. Sometimes it's the same bits or the same jokes and everything. And the one night it could be the greatest night ever, and the next night it could be really like a lame sort of not exciting night. And I think it has to do with the audience. I mean, I can say that just because we're the control group. We're not the variable. We're the ones that are definitely giving. And we can tell when we're off, but it's like I said, I've seen enough times where we've been consistent and it's not been up to us. So it's definitely a reciprocal thing.
So the kids out there watching your show, oh my gosh, I want to be Curran Kid one day. What did you tell them to do?
Deliberate hours apply. This is my
He's still telling me.
my thesis. I mean,
it's important. It's important.
It's not. You're not born with it. You're not. No, let anyone ever tell you that you're born with this talent. It's totally untrue. It's really discouraging and unfair to the people that put the hours in to get good at something. I read a great book called Talent is Overrated. It dispels the rumors about Mozart, about Tiger Woods, about all these people you think they're born this way. No, it's all because they had great mentorship, they put in the hours, they had focused practice. There's a great quote from this book, why are we not much better at handwriting and driving than the first year we did it? Because after you get good enough at something, a lot of people just shut down and they stop learning. They just do it. Like my handwriting's terrible because I can write good enough to make sense. Well, sometimes it's legible just to me, but
I can.
The point being, I don't work on it. I don't sit there and work on my handwriting. Much like music, some people, even in our gig, they learn the 50 to 100 popular songs and then they never push themselves to go further. So to get good at anything, you have to sit down and it's usually good practice. It's hard. You sit down and you say, I want to get better at this song. You don't just keep doing the first 2 bars that you've already memorized. You have to really plow through stuff that's difficult. And same with your voice. You can't just sing every day. You have to think about how you're using your voice. I mean, are you straining it? Are you singing with good technique? I mean, we sing 200 nights a year and we don't lose our voices because we take really good care of them. And so it really comes down to hours and really being a nerd about what you're doing. You have to be really nerdy. You have to be always reading books about it. You have to wake up, you have to study it, you have to practice music, practice singing, practice health. And we have to be in tune with our health to be healthy enough to always be sweating. And so what does that mean? Eating good food, exercising, being stress-free, having your personal life sorted so you're not going through a crisis when you go out. And I've had that when I'm in my early 20s, both of us, I'm sure. I remember going on stage after a massive breakup and you can't have that stuff going on and expect to put on a world-class show every night. So having yourself sorted. I know I kind of took that one.
Well, no, the only thing I was going to add is before I did dueling, I used to teach. I taught K through 5 for a while, I taught middle school, I taught high school, and there are a lot of kids that say, I want to go off and sing and dance, and it's just about having a positive team around you. If that's what you want to do, let's write out a plan and figure out how you're going to do it. Because there's so many people that just don't have that support, or depending on where I was teaching, they're like, oh, you don't want to do music, you have to go be a doctor. And music is a hobby, not your how you're going to make your money, how you're going to live your life. And I would just say, if a kid or a child came up to me and said, I really want to do that, I'd say, find an instrument that you can practice on every day, and if that's what you want, do it. Don't let anybody get in your way.
And make sure you can support yourself, because sometimes you can't just start off and play contrabassoon and expect to get paid for it. You might have to put hours and years and years and years. You might find a way to monetize that trade, but the main thing is there is a need for art and music. So I tell anybody there is definitely a market for it. You just have to,
Yeah, people that we come across can't believe how well we do, and a common thing we hear is, oh, you guys are so sweet, you're doing that while you're young, and we're like, this is what we do,
we're gonna do this
when we're old.
Yeah. We know our friends who are in their 60s and 70s still doing this gig. They take less intense rooms, maybe they go down to Florida. Or
there's always a purpose for music and art.
Play for more chilled out crowds.
So speaking about that, what are some of your plans for the future? Do you think, I know you're on the Epic, you're on the Breakaway, are we going to see the big kid in the club one day? play somewhere.
Give it a 5 year.
You never know. Yeah, we have a 5-year plan, but
It's pretty simple.
we do dueling. We love it, but it's our goal is essentially to do less dueling and more original music.
Yeah.
But for the next 5 years, I imagine we'd be doing 2 to 3 ship contracts, and we have our favorite places we like to go: Des Moines, Iowa, and San Francisco, where we have clubs that treat us really well. But Drew's been working really hard on his own original music. I work on my original music, and we have, some little pockets of where people come in. It's nice to play the Billy Joel and the Whitney Houston, but it's also great when people like you come in and say, let's hear the original music. That's kind of what
That's what we're here
going.
for. As songwriters, the thing is, we wear the different masks. There's the entertainer, who's all they're interested in is making sure the audience is happy. So it's not about whatever I think is good or bad. It's what they need to feel good tonight, and that's the entertainer of me. But then there's also the person who, how did they come to love these songs in the first place? Somebody obviously wrote them at some point, and I believe that there's got to be more of it, and we can't just stop at like all the songs that were written in the 1960s, because those are some of the best songs ever written. There's lots of new songs coming out that are still good. We're still playing, the Bruno Mars and the Lumineers the last year or two. These are great new songs that we're playing every night, and they're great. They stand up to Billy Joel and to the Beatles and Queen and all that. So we want to write those songs too, and I really believe that we're getting really good at it. If we haven't written a couple already that hopefully are in the echelon, eventually we'll continue to write and release the songs that could be there, and then it becomes a matter of how do you get those promoted out into the world. It's a tricky new game these days, because the way the industry is become very, you have your American Idol, your X Factor.